Ready to go?
Yep.
Roberto, you're chairing, right?
Yep. So yeah, so good
Good.
evening, everyone. I think it's past 6:04, so let's go ahead with call this meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Board to order. So we can do a quick roll call. I don't know, Rob, Victoria is not here, but Rob is here, Greg is here, Samantha also, and Dylan. We don't have a counselor, right? So we're okay with that, right? We can start the meeting. You're gonna be Dylan representing counseling. I think
You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was going to come or not. He might pop in.
Okay, like we can start, right?
Yeah, we can definitely start.
Okay. So I think, let me share the agenda. I have a problem with that. Let me open it. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, you have the screen. Okay, thank you.
Great.
All right, I'm going to make it bigger because I cannot see. Thank you. So call to order is done. And I think we can proceed with the next topic, public comments. Is that what is next, right?
Yeah, nobody's signed up for that.
Okay, so we don't have public comments, and then we go check in. So we already mentioned who is in the meeting. I'm gonna Robin online, Greg and Samantha and Dylan and myself representing the advisory board, sustainability advisory board. And should we go ahead and approve our past May meeting minutes?
I looked at them and I made the correction that you had suggested, Rob, and so I'll send that to Dylan, and then just a couple of typos that I saw. So, I move that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Right. Yep. Third.
So all in favor, I guess.
All in favor? Yep. Samantha?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
No problem.
Let me go ahead. I'll try to find with my windows where I open the minutes. Okay. The agenda said last details on all the all-time fair. Let me go to my notes. Maybe I'm going too fast, but I think I prefer like more effective meeting and just go fast to the topics.
Mhm.
So we have a quick logistics, right? Check on the all-time fair, like July 11th. That's
Yes.
Saturday, right?
Yes.
And there are sign up going on around. Like there's a form also. I don't know. I think I haven't filed that. I don't remember, but she put me for Saturday, like from 2 to 6. So I think Greg is 10 to 12.
And 4 to 6.
4 to 6, and Rob is 12 to 4. Correct?
Yep. I'm 12 to 4. Yep.
So basically,
And I guess
gonna be alone, right? Like nobody. Can we bring family, or what do you think?
sure. Well, and Samantha, do you have a sense about whether you'd be able to be there?
I can, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I wasn't able to go to the May meeting or the May meeting. But yes, definitely man the table at some point.
Okay.
With or without somebody as well.
But if Rob's there by himself, then maybe you could go when Rob's there. And I was just remembering that I think it's Mark, and I try to remember
Yeah.
the person from Lake Oswego. Maybe
Yep.
it would make sense to have them come like between 12 and 3 or something like that.
Yep. That sounds good.
Good. And the Westland Garden Club has shared that booth with us for the past couple of years, and they were interested in doing so again. I haven't heard from Sue yet this year whether they're actually going to do it, but she had said that they were interested back in January or February. So I'll check with her to see like whether she's interested in doing that. One of the other things that, like, I've got a bunch of stuff that we've distributed in the past. I know, Samantha, you were thinking about trying to find um, some materials around about recycling that could be put on the our recycling bins. Did you have any success with that?
Stickers. I did not,
Okay.
but candidly, we just bought a new house, so my
Uh-huh.
life has been a little bit chaotic.
Yes, I can imagine.
um, so it's still in West Linn. We're moving from Cascade Summit to Robinwood. But I can try a little bit harder before the actual fair starts,
Okay.
for sure.
Great. And one of the things that we've done at least once, or maybe twice, is query people about issues tied into sustainability that they were interested if they actually come to the table. And are people interested in doing that? And just kind of keeping track of it on a clipboard of things that people happen to mention?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And that actually one of the things that I meant to add to the agenda, and then, like I said, bought a house, so life's been pretty crazy. Was people on the Facebook page for the Westland Sustainability Group have been talking about the backyard, or not backyard, the curbside composting
Mhm.
stuff. And I think that that might come up a lot at the fair if we have people stop by. So just have an answer,
And
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Helpful.
you happen to see the
Email from
email
Dylan.
message that
Yeah.
Dylan had sent to one of the people I'm assuming from that group just
Yeah,
about it. So
she posted the email on the Facebook group so that people knew, like people were informed about like
good.
what
Good.
Oh,
what Dylan
interesting.
said.
I didn't
Yeah.
know I got published. Okay.
Yep, you got published.
Yes,
Nobody
probably.
was mean or anything. Actually,
Well,
everybody was very nice. It was really good. Um, but they were saying, like, I guess her comment was like the board, the city council, like isn't making a big push for it or a big stink about it because people aren't complaining. And so she was like, so I guess it's time to start complaining. So we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get some
Yeah.
voice. Right. And Dylan, with regard to that, I know that you've talked about trying to kind of arrange a meeting between us and the folks from uh, Westland Refuse. Is that something that's likely to happen in the next few months?
I mean, yeah, I think we can make it happen in the next few months. The contract piece that I've been waiting on is still legal, has just as long a list of things as I do, and they
Uh-huh.
kind of with them and the Westland Refuse legal people, I would assume. And I don't think there's been
Right.
a lot of movement on that, and that was kind
Okay.
of what we were waiting on.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to, but although, yeah, I don't know, this might get wrapped into that. I
Yeah.
could maybe
Yeah.
try to just schedule something and just kind of let them go parallel, I guess, because I don't know how
Okay.
long it's going to take.
But again, just if it does come up when we're at the fair, just so that we can be as apprised as possible about where things stand. Good. Great. Thanks.
We lost Robert.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I thought he'd pop back in
Yeah.
by now.
Yeah, there were 2 Robs for a moment.
Yeah. We don't have a quorum anymore. Do we?
No, we don't. Do you happen to have his phone number, Dylan?
I can look it up. Let me look.
Yeah, I don't. That's surprising. I can run to the backyard and shout.
Are you direct next door neighbors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are 3 houses on our west side. We have like a half-acre lot, and the other was kind of divvied up back in '86. And so he's at the house at the far end. So I had the pleasure of helping kind of rebuild a fence with him 2 summers ago, which was fun to do.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So see him across the fence
Mhm.
periodically. So right.
Mhm.
Any luck?
No, he's got some sort of interesting call screening thing, like a robotic thing, and then it hung up on me.
Well,
Like, say your
It's-
name and reason for calling, and then it just like hung up.
I'll go back and knock on the door.
Okay.
Keep on going if he comes back before I get back, but I'll knock on his door.
So while can we just chat about something? Is that going to violate protocol?
I think that it's fine for a second. I'm sure we're not making any big
Public meeting
decisions or anything.
protocol.
Yeah.
So water usage in West Linn. Do we? I didn't look at our documents, but do we have a kind of any kind of plan in place from the SAB actually to promote water conservation in the summers? Oh, there he is.
Very interesting you ask, because that has been a hot topic around here
Sorry about
lately.
that. I'm here.
We're part of a couple different groups, like the Clackamas River Water Providers, and
Mhm.
even Clackamas County Disaster Management. We meet with them regularly, and the state, like everyone, is aware of the drought, this year, and
Mhm.
we have already started sharing some water conservation stuff. So the Clackamas River Water Providers give us like a toolkit of things to use, and so we
good.
are starting to roll those out, because this is starting a drought summer already early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
conservation stuff could be coming this summer.
Yeah.
Possible water restriction. I mean, we don't know if we'll get there, but we are planning for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Yeah, it would be nice to have a program in place before the crisis comes.
I'm
Yeah,
back to the meeting,
it's already
guys.
there. It
Yeah.
is. We are all
I'm back to the meeting.
being proactive as we can about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Guys, can you hear me? I'm back.
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah. Greg just came next door. I'm in my office, but he just knocked the door. Oh my god. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. The computer just go crazy. I cannot connect.
No problem.
Yeah. I joined with my cell phone, but I still need to reopen the computer and everything, like log in again. But
So the next thing on the agenda was the goal 5 tree inventory.
Yeah.
You want me to go ahead and report on that?
Yes, please. If you have
Okay.
updates,
Yep.
I have
Yep.
some too, but if you have from Victoria, that'll be great.
Yeah, actually, so last time, I was asked to talk to Steve Cooper, and Steve referred me to Darren Wise, who did kindly call me back. Bottom line is, Goal 5 is triggered only if we're asking for an amendment of the tree code, particularly relative to trees in developments, but also on private property where somebody might be taking one down. Normally, he said you change the code only if you have lots of land to develop going forward. We don't here in West Linn. He did also note that Lake Oswego just did this. That is, they changed their tree code, and in the process, they discovered that the vast majority of tree removals was not through developments, but rather individual private property owners. So his view was sort of, one, if we're just doing a tree inventory, it doesn't have anything. We don't have to worry. If we want to change the code, then we have to take heed of Goal 5. That's the bottom line. But he kind of wondered, is there, unless we want to regulate how people behave with respect to their own property, and get into that, that's where it would be most significant. So that was his follow up to that.
Okay, so
And
is there a possibility to influence our tree code, or still pending on that? If
Say
we
that again.
Can we influence our community on the tree code update, or what is? Yeah, if you can
Oh
give us.
yes, I mean if
more color.
there is, I'm not aware. Is there an update underway?
there was an update of the residential element of the tree code a year ago,
Yeah,
but there
and that
hasn't
must
been.
then have.
Got it. So the residential tree code revision happened.
Yeah, sorry about
Yeah.
that.
And that's completed. But
Mhm.
the tree code that would have an impact upon what developers would do. And I think what had kind of spurred our initial interest was the way in which the effort to create more uh, middle housing was going to result in lots being divided and a lot of trees on already established lots in neighborhoods would be threatened. And so we
Got
were
it.
just interested in trying to figure out what could be done to mitigate some of that impact of just of trying to increase the amount of housing in the city with more and more already established lots being
Right.
divided. So it was not in fact going to affect any of the natural areas in the city. The concern was about already established lots that were going to develop, and trees were going to be cut down on those lots.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, he said that's, again, if you change the code in any way, that triggers Goal 5. That's all that, his point. So I suppose if we did do something, then it would impact the
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to take cognizance of Goal 5 and everything it
Yeah.
requires.
Because my understanding about Goal 5 is it only affects natural areas that have not been developed, not already established city lots.
Yeah, and he did not.
He didn't talk about
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't. No.
Yeah.
His view was, however, because we have so little, but again, your point is it's not about new development, it's about dividing up existing property. But
Right.
yeah.
And basically having a negative impact upon the urban canopy.
You're right.
Well, we can continue messing
Yeah.
around with
I mean,
this,
what
I
we probably ought to
guess.
do is we
Yeah.
should look at we should, together sometime down the road, maybe in the fall, look at the code that affects residential tree removal and see what happens. Yeah. See if there actually is anything to be done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Roberto, you're muted.
Thank you for telling me. Sorry about
Great.
that.
No
so
problem.
can we set the next steps for like concrete of next steps, how we're gonna address this? Or is all on you, Rob? You're gonna check more details?
Yeah, I mean, do you want, so come fall, I mean, are you still talking about the tree code? Is that what you're talking about? I couldn't hear you well. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we should maybe for one of our fall meetings, actually, we could drop this down to our, what's that, goals for 2026, low cost items. One of them might be to do this, to, you know, take a group look at the residential tree removal guidelines. That's what we're after, right? Tree removal guidelines, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
And not only removal guidelines, but protection of trees that have not been removed. And then,
right.
like in Milwaukee, uh, when trees are removed, uh, new trees need to be planted that would actually create an equivalent canopy.
Mm.
And so, I talked with the folks in Milwaukee about this a couple of years ago, and they said that Goal 5 was not applicable in this situation. And so it's been the challenge to kind of figure out how to work with city staff around this, who have persistently brought up Goal 5 as the reason for not being able to move forward on it, ever since we started working on this.
Huh.
This is
Yeah,
about 4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
was just,
Darren's. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, I just was pulling up that most recent code change. And there's some talking
Yeah.
about how they changed to make clear and consistent procedures for evaluating issuing tree permits. Something like that, clear guidelines for tree maintenance and removal, support protective care of the city's tree canopy. So I can email this out to the group,
Yes.
these
Yeah.
most recent changes, and it includes a couple documents, the community tree code amendments, the tree technical manual, and the ordinance. And maybe, when people are ready to look at that, they can.
Sure.
Part of
Right.
this discussion might help.
Yep.
Great. And do
Yep.
you know, Dylan, whether the code that applies to residents, for example, if those codes are applicable to developers who have bought land that has already been developed? Oh, you're muted now.
Sorry, yeah, I just muted myself by accident. I don't know. Yeah, because I don't process them and know like the details of how the
Yeah.
process works. It's not something I've been involved in much before.
Uh-huh.
We can take a look at those documents and try
Yeah.
to
I think so.
bring a summary for next meeting and see what
Uh-huh.
positive impact we can do to the community, because I think there might be misinformation, right? And not
Yeah.
understanding
Mhm.
Yeah.
as a resident, right? Like and how we can mitigate, like what would be the probably next steps when you remove a tree, or if you need to put more, I don't know, like
Mhm.
which kind of trees, and yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we have affected trees with the emerald borer. This year is going to be worse because it's drier, I guess, and that's another project we have on course, but that is not going to happen super fast, so we're not going to be able to make an inventory of trees that are diseased. So, but eventually there are going to be actions taken with trees that are with the disease, so we need to mitigate that impact as well. And I think that would be good to influence the tree code on those kind of aspects, but not to burden the city, like the city staff, that they need to deal with that, or like how community can support and
Yeah.
help. let me go to the agenda, and it's so are we go with this and the tree inventory? I think we have a volunteer from I'm not super aware because Victoria is helping me with that project. I wasn't able to go with the teachers and finish the finding the overall program for the students. I help them to design something that we can use the tree inventory, the tree plotter tool. I think it was a big disruption that also we lost what's her name? Then she was part of the Parks and Recreation. Megan, yeah. So that was a big impact in the project because I think she wanted this to be part of the city kind of activities as well as being supported by the high school students. But now we're going to focus in a land that is behind for this summer behind the high school and try to make a demo or maybe a proof of concept that we can reuse that tool that we already have access.
Yeah, good.
And if we start with that, that'll be the first step. And then we can go forward with the students and figure out.
Yeah, good.
Well, thanks to you and Rob for kind of moving forward with this. Appreciate it.
Roberto, is the teacher's hope that they're going to be starting this like at the beginning of the school year?
I think we'll have to, but I missed a window. I was also in a very disruptive process in my life. I was getting into a new job and really I couldn't focus. We missed the window in this end of the year, like this like April, May window. They can start also the trees right now, they have a lot of canopy, it's gonna be nicer. And then we can witness starting the year, but we need to follow with the teachers. We need to have that meeting. We need to help them to define a strategy because for them it's not easy. They don't have the time and they really just use when they have these planning days and they remember when the school doesn't have a school, but the teachers are just in school planning their school year. They have some time to do that. But I understand them because my mom was a teacher, so it's not easy. So we need to help them to help us. So
yeah, that's why I was asking because I was also a teacher, and so I can see the benefit of starting like with the school year. But you want to say hi? But I didn't know if we'd be ready. So yeah, that's what I would get. That makes sense.
I think we're ready. The tool is there. But actually is the go to the field and like do the assessment. I'm not the best person to do that. I can do the technological assessment and try to use a tool and how to measure and capture the data. But for the other thing is we can use help from Lake Oswego. They are super happy to help us. Like they're really very helpful. They done this before. So I think we should use their support as well. But I can follow up with Victoria, what is the status? And we can move forward for the next meeting. Probably we can have more updates during the all-time fair. Yeah. But yeah, Samantha, if you want to help also, that will be amazing. So I think the property that is behind the high school is the Nature Conservancy that has hired that volunteer or that intern for the summer or through the year. So we're going to use that support. And that's the kickoff. But then we have this not connection with the teacher, so we need to help doing that.
I just want to note, Councilor Groner emailed, he is watching us on YouTube. He wasn't able to jump into the
That's
meeting.
amazing.
He's paying attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where YouTube
Yeah,
starts.
so that's all I have for that topic. I think we still need to work towards the end of the summer and have something to kick off in starting the fall or end of summer.
Great.
Anything else you would like to add, or do you think this is the path to go into these two topics? Are we good to continue
Yep.
with the next topics? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the next topic is a preview of the Make Polluters Pay presentation for City Council. Who has that?
Yeah, I've got that. I won't, and I'm not going to give you the full slideshow. We don't need the whole thing. I do want to so actually, before I do this, let me remind you what we're about here. So I think I looked at the city council minute sort of guidelines, and public comment is 3 minutes. If a advisory board sends you forward, I think it's 5. I think that's right. So if we're just going to live by their guidelines within the limits, it would be great to have the extra 2 minutes that would come from the SAB saying, yeah, we want this to go forward to the city council. So is that all correct, Dylan? I see you're having fun with a child too. Yeah.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
And if we do get to that point and, we have like a letter of support ready for them, we might be able to put it on like their consent agenda, or if they need a
Okay.
little more time, we might be able to schedule somewhere else. But yeah, that's standard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me just quickly show you this thing. So make some background. Make Polluters Pay Coalition, national coalition, the Oregon version of this. So Vermont passed a Make Polluters Pay bill. New York did. Oregon then was along with California. I think we were a little ahead of them. We're the next to really start working on it. So we've gone through 2 legislative sessions. We'll do a third coming up here in 2027. So the MPP, the fossil free media folks, they pour money into this. They have really done a great job of sort of building the materials for us. So let me see if I can share my screen. Can I share my screen? Allow
Yes.
WebEx to continue. Yeah. I don't want to share that window. How do I do this? No, let's see. I want to share. Can you see that now? Share this window.
Yep.
Now do you see
Something's
it?
happening. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me do this. I'm not going to take much time here. So the slideshow they've given us, it's basically in a few parts. And actually, there's some mistakes in here right now. I see so what this thing covers, what climate damages are costing our community, the role fossil fuel companies play, the movement to make them pay their fair share. So 3 really distinct, clear parts. The damages section, I'm just going to really do this quickly. So climate costs getting worse, LA fires, Texas floods. You can see this. I mean, and you can spend time on these. Hurricane Melissa, Western states drought ongoing, which obviously is now getting more intense. And then you want to add some local impact, state impact. So this is where we'd note the heat dome, the wildfire, the big wildfires, and the, oh, was it 20? I always get this wrong, 2021. And then the ongoing wildfire issues and the fact that it's costing us a bundle of money every time we have to clean up from these. So that set of slides, well, actually, going to continue. So you've got this further sort of body of evidence for the kind of disasters we're facing and what the costs are, and you see the sort of startling statistics. So some of these slides I'm not all that convinced are useful. This one, it's hard to see what it's actually telling you, but you see as climate impacts intensify, the costs are adding up. Yes, obviously. More of the same. Then sort of the key things, those costs are being paid at the local level, draining state city budgets, particularly, and hurting small businesses. And here on this one, again, we've been encouraged to tailor these. So I would adjust this to reflect some of the very, very local effects, and we can come back to that. And then insurance rates as a consequence, which is truly affecting us. We just went through a home insurance change, and wildfire risk is calculated into our insurance around here now. More on insurance, cost of food, and then general cost of living. So you're building your case in this first set of slides, basically about 1 through 18. And then this idea that we're all paying the costs. The addition that I think they're going to make at a number of our suggestion was a slide that essentially says we pay for fossil fuel 3 times. When we pay for it at the pump, when we pay for the cleanup costs, and then when we pay for the rising costs of everything else as a consequence of climate change. And that's mainly meant to counter those folks who want to argue that in fact we're the responsible party because we burn these fossil fuels. So the next component, so the next big part of this is this section about how about those most responsible. So really, who's responsible? The usual overwhelming use of fossil fuels. The fact that the fossil fuel industry says, we're the ones who burnt that fuel, we bear responsibility too, but in fact, they bear the biggest responsibility. And then this is actually a change in the campaign. It used to be that we didn't talk about the fact that they knew they lied and that they've done everything to cover it up. That really only is an argument you want to bring to bear when you're in a lawsuit, a legal culpability case like Multnomah County's case. It really is not an argument you ever want to use to base the Superfund, but because now fossil-free media has realized the public is not so sophisticated as to make that distinction, and it really does pay to fuel companies do, right, and continue to cover it up. They finally included that in the campaign, which was a relief. So you have again slides detailing how this works. They interestingly only go back to 1965. Some of you probably know this. They knew it in the middle of the 50s. 1954, California's lawsuit. There's a set of documents from 1954 that makes it perfectly clear they knew what they were doing and that they needed to keep it quiet. So again, the 70s, more evidence. The 80s, again, more evidence. And then the fact that they also launched this huge disinformation campaign. And so you go through a series of slides that help you see the evidence of their disinformation campaign, as well as their greenwashing of their products. And now the fact that they have this army of front groups and politicians who are lobbying against climate action. You may have seen the congresswoman from Wyoming who who just submitted a bill to give fossil fuel companies total immunity from Superfund laws and lawsuits like Multnomah County's and California's, as well as insurance claims, and we can come back to that. So again, greenwashing, all of that continues today. The industry knew, they lied, they delayed, they should pay, so we don't have to. Okay, there you go. They also poison our communities, and these are the sort of the summary slides. They price gouge us. We've just seen that in the Iran war. They buy our politicians and decision makers. And so that was the middle part of the slide sequence. And then the last part is what I would trim a lot for the sake of the city council, because really what we want is to get them to sign on to support the Make Polluters Pay bill, which is legislation. The three components, though, are Make Polluters Pay bills. Again, I can explain that if anybody doesn't understand that. Lawsuits against the fossil fuel companies like Multnomah County's lawsuit. And now the new frontier is insurance legislation. So there you go. And then this section explains these things. So climate lawsuits, That 30 is increased since they made this slideshow about a month ago. I think it's now up to 35, 36. So climate lawsuits, Superfund bills. This is what's pertinent. So the Superfund bill that we've tried for 2 legislative sessions and will try again in 2027, and that explains these. So based on the polluters pay principle, Superfund laws, the 1980 Superfund law is the basis for this. Calculate climate damages, ascribe the damages to fossil fuel companies most responsible, and collect the funds, use them for climate resilience programs. You may have seen this. So number one, calculating climate damages to the state. So the new science of, oh, come on, I've forgotten now. Climate change. Oh, I've forgotten the term. But scientists are now very able to ascribe to particular fossil fuel companies the percentage of their responsibility for global emissions at any given time on the basis of the amount of material produced and sold. So there's a really concerted attack on that line of science right now from the fossil fuel companies. They're working really hard to make that sound like it's just voodoo science. So some Superfund laws again, Vermont, New York. That map needs to be updated. There's more states now that are pushing it. Washington is beginning to develop a potential package, and this obviously needs to be updated to 2027. Okay. And then, of course, no breakout group. Finally, insurance legislation. I don't know whether we talked about this or it was another meeting I talked about this. This is basically allowing state attorneys general to sue fossil fuel companies to ensure that they make a contribution to the rising insurance costs, particularly for state-funded insurance programs. So we don't need to go all through that. So there you go. So again, back here, what's happening in your own state, and then basically a set of slides that remind people of just how popular these ideas are, and they really are popular. It's amazing when you do the public research. So I'm gonna quit sharing. Do I know how to quit sharing here? Stop sharing. There we go.
I'm sure the counselors are gonna ask what is the direct, like, we know the impact for the community, but it's more like for West Linn, probably what is the most direct impact like. I'm gonna give you an example. We live next to a flood plan wetland. And because we have the risk of, and we have to pay insurance that is for flooding.
Right.
So that's a direct impact to, for a family, right? So in that way, I think we can bring examples to.
Yep. No, I think, and that's one of the things I'd ask you guys to do. So for a couple of those slides, we should put our heads together and make some sort of solid claims for what one impact in West Linn, as well as the things that we would benefit from. So I think at our last meeting we were talking about cooling centers. We are probably short on cooling centers. We could use. I mean, and if, for instance, in the building of the new facilities on the side of the hill, they're gonna incorporate some kind of cooling centers. That fund, the super fund that would be that would result from this, would be available to cities, counties, nonprofit organizations, and by grant proposals. And anything building any kind of resilience will be you can ask for dollars to help with that resilience, and it has a potential to be a really large fund. The guesstimates for Oregon, no, I'm not going to do that. It's large. I'll get that number correct.
Could you share the presentation, even if it's work in progress, so we can have more details and we can provide you one with examples or.
Yeah. Why don't I do this? The fossil free media folks are funny about this. I asked, can we share this around in our states? And they said, but yeah, I think what I can do is what I'll probably do is just I'll check with Sarah Shore and make sure it's okay. But just share it with you and tell you which slides are most likely going to be useful, which ones we can drop, rather than trying to edit myself at this point. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll do that in the next week. So
Yep.
again, when you take time with it, it actually is a fairly um, powerful
Yep.
argument.
Yep.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, and thank you, Dylan, for the help also, so we can
Sure.
continue with this with the console and hopefully present.
So I had just a couple of questions. I'm assuming that the only polluters who are kind of the object of this effort are people who are involved in the fossil fuel industry, not like
Yeah,
a
so it's
paper company
only
that has, yeah.
right. No, and it's only the biggest one of the a lot of people say, well, our fuel prices are going to go up because they'll just pass the cost back to us. One of the reasons that's not likely to happen is because it only targets the very biggest
Okay.
polluters. So you've got corporations. So what you'd have is small corporations continuing to sell gas to us at their unaffected price. So the mere fact of competition will keep them from um, trying to pass the cost along. Plus, these are what's production costs from literally years ago. This is for
Mhm.
pollution from 1995 to 2025. So
So my other question is, have either New York or Vermont been successful in
mhm.
gaining some of these funds, and how are they now being distributed?
They have not. The part of the process. So you pass the legislation, and then you take a year or so to do the climate attribution science. There we go. And determine who's responsible and for what percentage of the climate damages in the state. So you'd go back and you'd ask how much did it cost to clean up from 2021, the heat dome, et cetera. So that's a long process. Vermont actually completed that process and was ready to send out bills, that is claims, to the fossil fuel companies. But as you probably know, the fossil fuel companies, as well as now the federal government, sued Vermont and New York to stop them from implementing the legislation. So now it's in the courts, and that's to be expected. We'll have the same experience here if we pass it. Um, that and the answer to that always is, people will say you don't want to do this because you're going to end up being in court and it's going to cost you too much. Um, we already have the pathways carved out, and we're already talking to the attorneys who are working the case in in Vermont and New York. Jeff Hand in Vermont is an important figure. So yeah, it's that all that stuff it'll still cost us something, but the other thing is Dan Rayfield's been pretty inventive in how to pay for these sorts of things. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
sure.
Anything
Thanks.
else? Yeah, anything else you guys want to add, or we can continue with the agenda?
So I guess a question, Roberta, would be, do we feel comfortable trying to kind of craft a letter that will go to the city council, urging them to kind of listen to this presentation and giving Rob 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's a good point. I do.
Okay.
I think that's our footprint in this effort. If we think this is a good initiative as a group, right, as a board, I do. I will say yes. I'll support this myself.
Okay.
Others.
I suppose.
I do as well. I have heard of this, and I think it's a great cause. So
I should note too, the reason we're doing this, the campaign is talking to city and county level electeds, is because that's proven to be a really effective. If the city, that is the city council, with the mayor, say to the state legislature and to Jules in particular, Jules is a supporter. She's behind this. But if they say that in sufficient numbers, that was very influential in New York and also in Vermont. Vermont was, they were going to pass it regardless, but New York was the reason finally the governor signed it.
Yep. I think it's a good way to make our representatives also show interest or not and be public about it. Yeah.
So yeah, I support it. Would it be appropriate for you to craft a letter for us to
review
kind of agree on at our next meeting, or for one of us to do that?
or offline, and then we just send it.
Yeah. So who are you asking, me, Greg?
What was that?
Or Roberto? Are you asking me or Roberto?
Oh, I'm asking you whether it would
Yeah.
be appropriate for you to write it or not.
You're right.
I can start that. I've got access to all of this stuff. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. There's a guy in Rhode Island I'm talking to who's been working on precisely this topic. I'm sure he's got a template for me. So
Great, good. So maybe if you could get that and maybe distribute that electronically, and then we could kind of share it with the folks like Victoria, and then try to make a decision this summertime.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. To put this into our next actions, and we can check it offline, and then we just move forward. Needing to do it in the next meeting.
Yeah, no problem. I'll get it.
Yeah. All right. I think we have. So can we move forward to the next topics, or do you think we should discuss more? Okay. So I think one big topic now is looking at our goals for 2026, and we have a through discussion on the low cost items that we have here and how we can act on them. So and what is also like low budget that is attractive for the vision of the council and the city, right? So we have many of them. I don't know if you want to go one by one. Do we have those minutes? Dylan, do you have the list of those items through?
No.
I think you present, Dylan, the just briefly those minutes. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And for everybody else's benefit, numbers 4, 5, and 6 were included in a resolution that was passed a couple of years ago. So our effort to kind of deal with them, actually, those efforts were successful.
But
we'll
state level, or what are you like approved by us, right? Like,
yeah, the SAB proposed them and the city council approved them. It was a single resolution that basically dealt with those 3 items. Yeah.
Talking about the energy 3 items, or
the energy ones, yeah. Numbers 4, 5, 6 under energy.
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Okay. 7 and 8. 7 is not low cost.
Yeah, wouldn't cost the city anything.
7 will cost, right? Oh no, that's not. That's new house. Okay, yeah.
So, 7 wouldn't cost the city anything. Speaking of lawsuits, except for the lawsuits that
except for the lawsuits, right?
File against the city,
right? Well, and let me be clear as well. All of these came from West Linn's Sustainability Action Plan. So I just lifted them from things that the city council had actually agreed upon in both 2015 and 2021.
Oh, really? Interesting. Wow.
Okay.
So an issue is like actually creating the teeth to make these things real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we go forward with the energy topic in bulk.
as a bulk, like all of them, right? So we can consider the energy main topic as the for 2026, right?
Well, we could choose one from any of those categories.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that 4, 5, and 6 have already been dealt with because that's what we
Yeah.
did a few years ago. Just took those as something that we wanted to address. So it could be, number 9, enact a local ordinance requiring control of listed priority invasive species, so that property owners are required to remove Himalayan and European blackberries and clematis, and that the city actually monitor that, and that people be informed when they've allowed those weeds to not be controlled. So that might be something that we'd want to do. So for any of those, I think what I was hoping is that we could decide like whether there was one of them that we might really be interested in taking on in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, going back to energy,
Mhm.
I mean, really, number 8 shouldn't be all that hard. 7
Mhm.
would stir up a hornet's nest, but it's a hornet's
Oh,
nest worth
definitely.
stirring up.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, Northwest National would be here very rapidly.
Yeah, it's okay. Again, sort of strength in numbers to my mind. My guess is others are going to be doing that these days.
Mhm.
Is
And
number 8
it's
not already a thing? Huh. Interesting. I think they're doing it anyway. So I really don't think that
yeah,
would
you think
be
builders are doing it?
And there's
um
a state law about multifamily. I don't remember how many you have to have, but there is a state law that you have to put in
Right.
a conduit for
okay, maybe that's what
multifamily.
it is.
Yeah.
We just bought a new build house and it has
Mm.
a charge. But this builder is like building all over Westland right now, and
Uh-huh.
I think all of them have the charging because we saw a couple of them.
Great.
So I don't think that
That's
that
nice
would
to know.
be I don't think that would be a big stink.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I suppose the question too on number 7 would be: is there that much new building in West Linn,
Right.
new housing, that we need to stir that one up? I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
no,
it
I
will.
think that seems perfectly fair.
Yeah, Northwest Natural really will. They'll be what they did to Eugene.
And it would be interesting, given what Samantha said, to just query some developers to find out how many people are in fact doing what the person who built your house had done. And if it is general, then I think we don't need to put it in a code.
Sorry about my laptop again. Like, I don't know. It's the internet connection. Sorry about that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot on this list.
Yeah.
Do we? Yeah, I'm trying to think whether. Yeah, go ahead,
Permeable
Samantha.
pavements was one of the things when I first joined that I like had in my head to talk about because it's so easy and it's so much better for the water table. And it's safer because there's less puddling, so it's not as slippery. That's in number 10 for local design requiring
Yeah.
proactive green infrastructure practices. Yeah, I think it's silly that we don't use permeable pavement already. It's just,
I mean, it does
I think that would be a good one.
does get used from time to time. I can think of a couple places, like the LDS Church put some in when they did theirs. They have a permeable pavement there. Some of our parks, the parking lot down at Willamette Park, we've done it ourselves. So it does pop up around town, and we do have a pretty strong stormwater code. Almost everything new is putting in rain gardens or stormwater infiltration facilities. You know, there's a certain putting in, I don't know how many square feet of impermeable like roof or pavement or anything, then you do have to treat it and detain it. And there's all these calculations, and engineering does all that. But I think our code is pretty up there for that.
Okay.
Cool.
And then the one before that, I was looking at number 9 too, and I was looking at our code. We already have in our municipal code about noxious vegetation that you're not allowed to have. And it does say the term noxious vegetation includes weeds listed under any weed category in the Oregon State Noxious Weed List, maintained by the Oregon State Weed Board, which I didn't know was a thing, and lawn grass more than 8 inches high, and poison oak, poison ivy, or similar poisonous vegetation. So that's there. I don't know how that compares to priority invasive species, but yeah, like Greg said, a lot of these things are addressed in some way.
So actually, this is yielding exactly what I'd hoped it would in terms of, 7 and 8 don't seem really appropriate. And 9 and 10 are already being addressed to some extent. So that's helpful.
Yeah, and same 11. I think that was something Megan was very interested in doing and making it a little more formalized. I don't know where exactly that landed, and obviously, we're without a parks director full time right now, so not sure where we'd go with that one right now.
Yeah.
And number 12,
And it
same
seems
thing.
like,
Yeah,
there's quite a bit more of that volunteer restoration work happening than I remember seeing, 20 years ago. So something is
Mary
happening,
S.
and just to see
Young,
the notifications in the parks.
yeah, Mary S. Young does that a lot. I think
Yeah.
they do it once a month, don't they?
And there's
at
some people
least.
who are down there more frequently than that. Yeah.
Yeah, we really rely on volunteers to keep up the
Yeah.
park. We just don't have enough staff per acre
Yeah.
to really.
A huge park, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that park. Moving right next to it, I'm gonna be there all the time.
Yeah. Yep, we rely on people that love the parks and are willing to get out there and do that. And we have that in all sorts of neighborhoods. People organize, even for the little greenways behind their houses, and yeah, it's really helpful.
That's awesome.
Well, it sounds like the natural areas list were it's either happening naturally, so to speak, or underway, or So moving on to water.
I think rainwater harvesting, number 13, I think that could be encouraged more.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's not that hard to do, but you kind of have to know what you're doing.
And you have to buy the containers and have enough room for them.
Yep, exactly.
But
It's kind of like backyard composting, where it's really not that hard, but you have to buy stuff and have room and then commit to it.
Yes.
But it's something to encourage, I think.
Do people are folks familiar with any places where rainwater harvesting is actually happening much in the city? I know of places in Portland that do that, but I don't know of any places in West Linn. And does it happen at all on any public buildings as an example of the possibilities?
I want to say the fire station down in Willamette This is just something, it's like a vague memory when they were building. I remember something about
Uh-huh.
a gray water tank or something. I think they might have some sort of a system where they're reusing water,
Mhm.
toilets or landscaping or something. Yeah.
That might be something that we could encourage the city to do, just in terms of modeling the value of rainwater harvesting.
We just add more to the pile, Dylan. I think that'll be great. Especially the
I
new
mean, we
building.
have a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Well, and particularly as droughts become more common, being able to kind of access some saved rainwater for irrigation would probably be really helpful.
Yep. And with water, also different types of watering, drip watering versus like sprinklers. I think we know it rains a lot, and I think we are entitled. We think that we have a lot of that resource in Oregon. That we're experiencing drought now in some areas, and we just pay the bill. Like when you have the money, you just pay the bill, but we don't know the implications. And drip systems are better, more efficient. I already make a hybrid installation in my house. I close my sprinklers and reuse those connectors to put irrigation pipe around the garden and around the yard. And I just did like micro sprinklers or micro like dripping systems for specific plants instead of like having just watering everything, right? Watering the driveway sometimes, right? Watering the gravel. So I think that that's better. Also helps maintenance, and you don't need to weed as much as when you water everything. So there, but when I think there's not a understanding what is the benefit of that. So I think that'll be good to encourage this kind of harvesting or using other irrigation systems. But that could be probably another topic, but the irrigation part. Yeah. But the second point, the 14, is also not expensive. It just requires planning, right? And change the code. Number 14, I think. Number 15 will be more expensive. But it's also for new investments. Like it's just developing the code, and that's just like encouraging the counseling and the city to start moving forward those. And it's not a lot of money. We just need to do it. So I'll say 13, 14, 15 for water. Do you think that's a low cost?
Low cost for the city.
Yeah.
Just in terms of coming up with management plans and education. So I'd be interested, Dylan, if you're at all familiar with what stormwater management codes currently exist for new buildings. And I'm assuming that this has to do with, creating rain gardens for runoff, off of roofs, et cetera, during major rainstorms. Are you familiar whether the city has done much with that?
Oh yeah, we have a whole stormwater management manual for development, for big developments, for single lot developments. And I actually has been pulling it up while you guys were chatting. And it does talk about which one of these said on-site stormwater management. It does talk about that, trying to keep stuff on site. or nearby. So yeah, we have a whole manual about that. So I think that
Uh-huh.
stuff is also all pretty much happening.
It is happening. Good,
Yeah,
good.
stormwater management code for new buildings. I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
all in this manual, which people are interested, I can share it. It looks like it was just updated in May 2025, so it's all pretty
Oh, it really is.
to
Yeah.
date.
Good. So
And
what
it
this
is
suggests
very
is that,
big and comprehensive. It's got a lot. It's
yeah,
got porous pavement, eco roofs, planters, rain gardens, detention ponds, dry wells, soakage trenches,
uh-huh,
all sorts of things.
cool. Oh, actually, my wife was listening to what she said. Is this required or suggested?
It is required. I mean,
I
a lot of
thought,
people
yeah,
have to put rain gardens in their front yard and they are not happy about
Uh-huh,
it. And
yeah,
then they have to do like stormwater
uh-huh,
easement. So then a
yeah,
document gets recorded with the property and they are like annual reporting requirements and it's a thing and it's
yeah, yeah.
not everyone
it
loves
is.
it.
Yeah, it is a thing. We built in 2011, and we had to put in a rain garden.
Uh-huh.
And we have to report annually. I have noticed, however, if we don't file the report, nobody says anything. But I just found it sitting on my desk to be filled out and completed for last year. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, yeah,
There are talks about more enforcement of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it
kind of
makes
a
sense,
thing. Yeah.
and it's straightforward stuff. You just have to go out and make sure that your drains are not plugged, and you've got.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's encouraging just to see, how many of these items the city is in fact dealing with from that, sustainability action plan from 11 years ago. So it's
yeah.
good.
Well, we've gotten through water. Shall we defer some of the
So,
rest for another meeting,
Yeah,
or what?
yeah, that makes sense. Maybe
okay.
we can, at our August meeting, finish up the list and see if there's anything else that would make sense to address.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. 16, education. Um, I think.
Okay. So what's next here?
Yeah, I think that rather probably to go through all the list, we need to put an action item to review it and bring whatever we don't think should be there. Like we already talked about it. We can put it in the minutes and say those other items might be not probably very easy and feasible. But let's read that. Victoria sent that list in the email, the low cost items, and the action item we can take it for our August meeting and make it like a deliverable and say like we are just gonna adjourn those and or commit to those and finish our 2026 plan.
Mhm.
Because if we go through the list, I think today is going to be a lot of time and there are so many topics, right?
Yeah, so I think just, having read through for the August meeting, from the materials management on down, and then choosing, if there are 3 or 4 items that really seem like they're possible and are of interest to you, then bring that to our meeting, and then we can talk about those. But I think it might be worthwhile just to kind of keep the rainwater harvesting in our minds as something that would be worth at least approaching the city about doing in terms of model projects, and then kind of informing the public about it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So let's put it as an action item for our next meeting, but to do an offline review for ourselves and see what is not belonging and whatever, like what Greg just also added, and we can continue with the meeting with the next items. Do we approve like moving this to the next meeting and having an action item to review? Okay. I think that the next item is new businesses, or what? We have something new on the plate. Somebody's working on something. Besides the topics we're taking right now. It's new business is our next topic.
Yep.
Not exactly new, but I met with that regional group about gas powered equipment for the first time. I don't remember if I'd done that before our last meeting or mentioned it before, but yeah, we did have a meeting, and just kind of like a little bit of an info dump, like what's everyone doing and what's the interest in the communities that were represented. And it was a pretty mixed bag. There was a lot of communities that are like, oh, we're interested, but it's not a huge priority for us. We get the complaints, we worry about all the things, but it didn't seem like it seemed like a little bit more of a deal here, to be honest, and maybe another neighboring community or two. But overall, it was like a thing that a lot of people didn't seem like they had the resources to go after, but everyone still did have interest. So we're going to keep going. We were a little farther along. I was able to like provide that resolution and some other things than other cities. So yeah, so we're having a monthly meeting. I guess the next one's probably coming up in a week or so, and we'll see. We're getting organized regionally. So
has anybody talked about the possibility of creating a fund to basically make it easier for small businesses to purchase battery powered leaf blowers?
Yeah, money definitely came up in the discussion, and nobody, I think a lot of people are facing budget challenges, and people are not finding the money.
No, but collectively going to the county commissioners and asking them to create a fund like they did in Multnomah County.
Yeah, I guess we haven't gone that far to be specific, but
okay.
And this group has more than just Clackamas County. It's I can't remember all the different. There was a couple cities, a couple counties in there. I think Multnomah County
so
might be in there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we can update on this topic as our new businesses, and we just add this topic into the plan as well, like all the efforts going on the gas power equipments and all the discussions the update that Dylan did. All right. So I didn't take a note on the next slide. Should we move to the next agenda topic?
Sure.
Okay. I think the next one is action items, but I have no recollection on some portion of it. So one is all time fair. We have our agenda schedule defined, so who's gonna attend, and Samantha is gonna bring materials probably for the composting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you cannot attend Samantha, we can use whatever information you can provide.
Sorry about that. I was putting a baby in her crib. I can attend. Nope, I'll be there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can, whatever, we just continue expressing the topic to people, the community showing interest, and we can. Is there any other materials, Greg, you were about to bring?
I've got a bunch of different information pamphlets that we've kind of distributed before, so I can bring them.
Okay. And what about the Make Polluters Pay? Are we bringing that topic into the old Plans Fair?
Could you repeat that? I didn't understand it.
Yeah, the Make Polluters Pay presentation or something, or
Right.
we're not gonna show that.
Yeah, I probably. Yeah, until yeah, I mean, and besides, it's it's not till the 2027 legislative session, so probably not this time around.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to have a flyer or something, but if you want me to, I can put that together.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then maybe if there isn't a need to go to the city council rapidly, maybe you could just bring the letter to our August meeting, and then we could all review it then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, it's on my list here. So if I get around to it and send Dylan, if I send it to everybody, that's not violating public meeting rules.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. I just got to remember what violates
you
for
asking.
public meeting.
Yeah. As long as we're not making decisions and things, it can be an informational thing that we bring at the next meeting and public will see it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Good. Okay. So old time fair. All right.
Do we have action items on goal 5 and tree inventory? I think in tree inventory, I can say that we are gonna focus on working with the volunteers in the facility next to the high school and try to make a proof of concept, and then we can influence more the teachers to help them to work in a program with the students and use the tree plotter tool. But I missed points with goal 5 because my computer was very good.
I already sent out the tree code and the recent update, so that could be an action for people to kind of look at that and see what the current process is and see if there's things there that to tweak, or maybe it meets some of the concerns. Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Yep. And the other action item is looking the goals for 2026 the least and bring discussion, like really make some time, take a look, and propose which are not really very relevant in the low cost items list and what are more feasible as our 2026 goals. Okay. And the new business is the power power tools and the updates that Dylan have just provided. So just continuity in that program. I don't know if there's a specific action item there, but I think that can be the first, just continuity on that program.
Good.
Okay, so our next meeting is going to be August 20th. Are we going to be able to attend?
I will.
Okay.
Yep, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So,
I just realized I might be in Ohio for a work trip, but if I'm not, then I will be able to. I will keep you posted.
Good.
Ohio in August. I hope for your sake you're here.
Me too.
I think that's all. So we're gonna have the meeting August 20th, and we can adjourn the meeting and just thank you for all the support and time, and see you in the all-time fair. So
Yeah.
we have
Good, yes. Thank you for
See you
facilitating.
then.
Thank you,
Yes,
Robert.
thank you.
Roberto,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, no
Thanks.
problem.